Good morning. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about the chakras. This is a subject that when I was first introduced to, it made no sense to me. I kind of disregarded it. It just sounded like a bunch of hippie nonsense. But once I had an awakening, it became clear that these are just really simple reference points to what it means to be alive. So our first chakra is our identity. It's not our personality, because our personality is made up of so many different things. Our personality isn't really a thing. It's a collection of different things. So our first chakra is our identity. It's our sense of self. It's our sense of survival. It's our sense of what our needs are. So it's not what our needs are or our survival. It's the sense of that. So once we overcome the control of the need to follow blindly what our first chakra says, if we are reacting in fear to what we need, that would be reacting to our first chakra. So a conscious first chakra says, I can create what I need for my survival. I feel solidly enough in myself that I'm not worried about what the external world says about me, because I know who I am. I am myself. It doesn't matter. So our second chakra is all about relation. So this is about relation to self and relation to others. So it's similar to the first chakra in that it's really just about our basic needs. It's about communicating our basic needs. So often we have to be able to communicate our needs to ourselves before we can communicate them to others. So again, first and second chakra are similar. They're not in too many dimensions. They're very simplistic. We don't want them ruling our lives. We want to rule them. We want to choose where our identity is and what we're attached to. We want to be able to detach from things and not be attached to things, because attachment creates suffering. Awareness and consciousness promotes growth, and attachment creates suffering. So our third chakra is that power. It's personal power. It's our solar chakra, our power over our lower chakras, our ability to be in our higher chakras. It's kind of like the gateway. So if anyone's talked about the gateway to heaven, if anything, a gateway to heaven is our third chakra, because once we're able to get past that, once we're able to have power over our basic survival needs and our every form of relation, which includes money, relationships, sex, everything that has to do with relation. Once we get above that to our solar chakra, then we start getting into our fun chakras, where we're actually doing things, where we have a lot of dimensional richness. It's not so like myopic. It's not so singular. So our solar chakra is our freedom, and it's really, 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 really challenging. There's so many things that affect our solar chakra. And my experience has been the better I get with it, the more challenges I get with it. So it's a continual process. So the better I get with being able to say, okay, these are my emotional reactions and these are my fears. These are going to exist, but I'm not going to let them take up real estate. I'm not going to let them choose my words. I'm not going to let them choose my actions. If I need to, I'll do a little writing or contemplation to kind of resolve them, because I know that they don't exist as much other than a bunch of static. I mean, they do their thing. They have their part. They serve a purpose, but they're just not meant to expand into the other parts of us. So our solar chakra is all of those things that I was just saying. It's all the considerations and all the transmutation and whatever it takes to not have these voices of need and these voices of emotion, all of emotion get in our way. So I think this is an ongoing thing. I'm not sure if anyone ever gets there until, again, like I've said, you can transmute yourself to a light body, then you have real solar power, and then you can say you've got it, 90% or more or whatever. So our fourth chakra would be our heart chakra. Again, this is not our emotions. Our emotions are our second chakra. So our heart chakra is just pure unconditional love. Curiosity is usually a good indicator of love. If you're just always curious all the time, then you're probably in love. Being in love with ourselves and being in love with life and being in love with learning, it's kind of all the same thing. So that is our heart chakra. Our heart chakra really is what's supposed to guide us, because when we're guided by curiosity and we're guided by excitement and love, and we're not feeling urges control us, then we're able to just kind of be free in the universe, because that's what the universe kind of wants from people. It's a certain level of responsibility, personal responsibility to be able to make it up to a functioning heart chakra. So once we have that, then we find that our voice, our fifth chakra of creation, really starts to come online. Because once we start to visit our heart chakra more often, because it can take a lot to stay there with all the craziness that happens in our world, once we start to visit it more, we get familiar with its guidance, and then so our creation makes sense. Once we have guidance, creation makes sense. So when they say guided by the heart or follow your heart, what they're basically saying is that when we're activating our heart chakra, we're in this state of curiosity and love where we know what to do next because we don't see problems. We create the new now that we want more of right now. That is in essence of the heart chakra being open, is creating the solution now, creating the new paradigm now. There's no thought of problem anymore. Like in this state, there's, thinking of a problem to frame it into a solution becomes an unnecessary step backwards to step forwards. From the heart chakra, it's just stepping forward. So I see very few people even touch on the state. This is the kind of thing that I think people might have a spiritual awakening up to their heart chakra and maybe not much further because they just feel this expansiveness of love and curiosity. So it's all about maintaining that and building that and recognizing what it takes to get there, what it takes to sustain that kind of an environment. Good indicators when you go to a workshop or you go traveling and you feel great and you get to a higher state of consciousness, you're in your heart chakra, and then you come back to your normal day-to-day life and then it goes away and you're like, well, what happened? That was just fake or illusionary or temporary, or I guess it's only this magical moment. That is our environment enriching the previous education. That is, our environment has not changed, we have changed. We go back, we notice that our environment is more toxic than we realized it was and is actually lowering our vibration, because most of the vibration on this planet is really low right now, so we're still dealing with this all the time. You can test this by going out into nature alone, and you should just feel better. Your vibration should rise naturally because the environment back home is lowering your vibration all the time, and every time you go shopping and driving, there's just so much low vibes. Unless you're able to generate your own heart field that is then, helping other people around you, unless you're to that point, it's very difficult to be in the external world, what we call our houses and what we call our businesses and our places of work, and what we call driving to and from work and driving to shopping and going on vacation, except if it's out in the middle of nowhere. Pretty much all of these experiences are negatively and positively reinforced by both taking things away and rewarding us for doing bad things. We are trained to not be in a higher state of consciousness. So the more we get into nature and just forget all about, advanced modern civilization, the more we slip into higher states of consciousness. It's really simple. Okay, so the heart chakra is our guide. Throat chakra, fifth chakra, is our voice of creation. So this is where we create things like literally sound, words, like powerful things. The ability, the pen is mightier than the sword. You come up with a few words, you can change the world and not even have to, try after that. You just come up with a few brilliant words. So the voice of creation is, sound. Everything is a ripple of sound or a ripple of vibration. The whole magnetic and electromagnetic frequency range, all the rainbow that you don't see, it's all vibratory. And so everything we do doesn't create something new, it just sends ripples through these waves wave fields that are already there. So there's a wave field for visible light, invisible light. Infrared is not very far from the edge of the rainbow, and that's actual heat. So you can just see how everything folds into this pattern, and you can actually see heat waves as they modify the environment. If you've ever seen, a hot highway in the sun, it looks like it wobbles, or a kettle that's clear with glass. You can see the heat waves travel in their patterns by the effect they have on the matter they're moving through. So anyways, throat of creation, fifth chakra. Sixth chakra would be vision. So that is our third eye that is able to see internally. I did a little bit of reading, and it basically really wonderful statement that said that we see internally by everything in the universe that we can't see externally, we see externally. We have the ability to see externally because that's what it's designed for. Our eyes have a very limited range of color perception and visible light perception. Don't really see a whole lot. And our internal eye, our third eye, can actually see all this stuff, but it comes as intuition, comes as visions, because we see pictures in our head, because that's the only way we can, and that's what it's designed for. And that's actually a clearer picture of reality than our eyes see. So just kind of getting used to what visions are and integrating them into our daily life. And not having them be a magical, mystical experience that we put up high or put somewhere else. It's just part of our day-to-day life. Okay, what did that tell me? How can I reference that? How is that usable to me every day? And just playing with it constantly. So self-examination and self-analysis through visioning into higher states of reality is wonderful, because you can say, oh, I'm dwarfed by all these things. I can now be defeated by all these wonderful things I've seen that are greater than me, and I can become of their essence. I can step on their shoulders because I've let them defeat me. So voice of creation, really activated, allows us to both create and receive really strongly, because we know what it means to create, and we're comfortable creating, and we comprehend the fact that it's all just vibration. So we allow vibration to teach us as much as we're teaching ourselves. And then we have our seventh chakra. So when you have the vision together, when you can see pictures and be self-analytical through advanced forms of pictures of the universe, and you're in your heart, guided by your heart, then creation gets much easier, because you see what you need and you feel just joy and curiosity. So the two together, just creation comes naturally. When you're having vision, when you're seeing the reality through your third eye internally and integrating that into your daily life, and when you're feeling your heart, you're feeling curious and in love with everything, then creation just happens naturally. So that point is just awesome. And then our seventh chakra is just going all the way and saying, I'm going to include more of my higher self in me as much as I can. The seventh is the portal to the violet stream, which is our higher self, which travels through that ultraviolet bandwidth, which contains way more data than any of the other visible spectrum. So we can download our higher self continually. Just remember and say, okay, my seventh chakra is the portal that I'm keeping open. I'm keeping my eyes open to receive this violet light that's coming in through the back top of my head, and literally contains my essence code. So the more that I remember to do this, the more I'm downloading my essence code, and I'm not just like running around on scraps of essence code notes that I've trickled through over the years, but I'm actually directly downloading more of my essence code and saying, yeah, my angelic body, my etheric body, whatever you want to call it. Literally downloading that by saying, okay, get down here, we've got some work to do, I want to feel you, like look through my eyes, feel more alive, it's going to be fun, we're going to do this together. And just kind of coax, say, command, it's all the same. We're working with ourselves here, so whatever patterns we figure work out with ourselves, Anyways, I'll launch into just a little bit of chanting before I have to go. Just a second. Satyam Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo devasya dimahi Dhyayana prachodayat Om apojoyati Rasam ratam Brahma bhuburasvaram Om bhuburasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo devasya dimahi Dhyayana prachodayat 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 Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right, have a beautiful morning.